my bed to the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Will today be rough or will today be great? 9, 10, 11, 12. Lately I've been going through hell. 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's the day. Are you coming? Are you sick of being normal? I'm sick of being average. I'm sick of being mortal. I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want, I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that coal just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others make changes. I'll be so bold, they will watch in amazement.
Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it.
Foot up on the pedal, pushing hard to the metal. Make a deal with the devil. Channel rage through my vessel into something that is special. Energy of a rebel, going up a level. I just wanna be greatness. I could feel changes, turn a new page and tie up my laces. I will be the bravest, break out of my cages. I will not be nameless, I will not be aimless.
Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it.
Nothing can stop me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow.
Guys, I am so sorry. Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, episode 243. My mic was muted for some reason. Not sure why, but anyway, this was supposed to start as an after hours episode, ultimately. And it definitely kind of shifted. A lot of people have gotten sick. There's been different things that have popped up this week. And we did take the week for the hiatus, to take a hiatus last week to kind of take some behind the scenes things, kind of get the rest of the calendar kind of squared away for the rest of this month into March with content, reaching out to people. This is typically a mixed panel of people, and I did in the promos put people out, but it has been hard. There have been some people that have had to cancel for tonight. And we're just going to kind of roll with the topic still. Although I will set up another episode so we can have an actual mixed panel on. We'll see who comes on here tonight. I know Kandyce is not going to be able to make it. She's going to tune in. I do know Mario was tentative, so I don't think Mario is. It's going to be kind of hard by the time like he gets done work to try to get on here. Other people got other things, I talked to my, through, let me see the comments. It's my boy Mike here. Put his comment up in a second. And my girl, Joy, she also, it's going to be hard for her to make it too, because she's got some stuff going on right now too. So it's all good though. Everybody supports still, in a way. I got people watching, which is cool. Shout out to everyone who's tuning in. Appreciate y'all. But we're rocking with it. This is an important episode regardless of which way you look at it. It's an important episode, important topics. And yeah, we're just going to cover it. We're going to roll tonight. And I won't keep it long, because if there's not any people really coming on, or a lot of people, we're going to keep this relatively short. Rich and Rob should still be on. From that, and Leyla is like a possibility, so we will see, but she is not guaranteed either, so we'll see. We're gonna see who's gonna tune in and pop on here tonight. But so if you guys didn't see the promotion, what we're talking about here tonight are navigating the negative opinions of others. A lot of times it comes from our own circle, but it could also just be people in life, navigating negative opinions of others, whether it be friends and family, coworkers, whatever it is inside of a long-term relationship or marriage. This is something that we have never covered on this podcast, but at the same time, this is something that plagues a lot of relationships that I see. I've had relationships in the past where it's also affected mine as well. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to lay their opinion into you, and like, you got to make sure that, we're going to go through it, but you got to be careful about what you leak to people. I think there's certain information in relationships that is absolutely between you and your partner. You do not bring anybody else into it. Are there certain things you can talk to? Yeah, but like, there's certain things that are completely like private that you only discuss with your partner. You don't go and tell your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your best friend. I don't care like who it is. There's certain things that you just keep, and it's like a foundation, right? It's a foundation of trust that you just keep between the two of you. So we're going to dive into how to navigate that. We will go through that. Also, what we have on the agenda tonight is as well. Let's see. What we have on the podcast agenda is healing attachment wounds. So we've talked about attachment styles on this podcast before. As it's something I've studied, it's something that is very critical, because a lot of people, I think, get into relationships, obviously before marriage, long-term relationships. We get into these things and we still have a lot of attachment work to do, whether it's from past relationships, childhood trauma, whatever it is. And we don't really show up as the best version of ourselves for our partner. It's not fair to the person that we enter into a relationship with, because we have not healed those wounds, whether it's avoidant, whether you're overly anxious, whatever it is. So we'll talk about that too. But guys, I want to say, put Mike's comment. Mike, what's up, my brother? How you doing, bro? How you doing, my brother? Hopefully you're doing well. Hope the fam's good. Appreciate you tuning in, man. It's Friday night, you know. What's your thoughts on this, Mike? Like on this topic? What you feeling with that? It's a big topic. So Mike commented in. Where's my mouse at? There it is. He said, yes, that is true. Better off that way. You know my backstory on things I deal with in the past couple years. Yeah, man. Some of our biggest haters, or not, I don't say haters, like people that have the most to say in our relationship are like our family and friends. It depends. It depends on the dynamic too. You know what I mean? If you have solid friends or family around you, they probably won't. Unless it's like a toxic situation, right? They're not going to sit here and put their 2 cents in too much. But I think a lot of times it's what we invite in sometimes. Like we got to be careful. Like I said, what we leak about our partner to friends and family. You ever see like the people that go through like a breakup where they're like on and off all the time and then they get back together? But what they did was they bashed their partner who they weren't with at the time. You know what I mean? They went through like you see these couples, they break up all the time and get back together. And then they bash each other to like friends and family, and then they get back together. And guess what? You look kind of stupid. You know what I mean? Because you went there and you did that. I think that you have to be able to shut out the noise too. It's going to be a big thing with setting boundaries, but we're going to dive into it. Guys, I just want to say, if you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? You already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. See the little notification bell in the corner. Click that little notification bell too, because we release episodes every single week dedicated to either personal development or sports. 95% of the time is personal growth and personal development. So if you like that type of content, you don't want to miss it. Still, also hit the like button too if you like what you see, because you know what? It really helps us out with the algorithm, and it puts this content out to other people who really need to see it. So appreciate that. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm assuming you're already part of the community, because you probably wouldn't be watching this if you weren't. So for that, I want to say thank you. Still hit the like button if you like something you see, because guess what? That helps us out on Facebook too. The algorithm, it pushes our content out to people that really want to see it or need to see it. You know, and a lot of this stuff here is informative content. So at this podcast, I'm telling you, it's all authentic. It's all real experience. Anything I tell you is either from experience or research, but a lot of it is just experience. You know, that's why I say for certain topics, I bring people on that are experienced in those areas, because I'm not experienced in everything, you know, but you're going to get authenticity here. You're going to get realness. You're going to get honest perspectives. You know, we don't sugarcoat shit here. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm not sugarcoating anything, and I'm authentic with people who watch this, you know, first and foremost. Mike said a lot of people try to get in the middle of us. We've been together for 9 years. There's nothing going to break us. We've been through a lot, still going strong. And that's kind of the mindset you have to have, is just, if you've been together 9 years through the storms, it's powerful. And I feel like every conflict that you get through, it makes you stronger. But yeah, it's a shame, man, you know, and everybody's situation is different, but it's like, sometimes it's like you don't want to deal with family, but you kind of have to. It kind of depends. I just say, you know, you have to have the mindset that they are going to be who they are. And a lot of times, that's what I say. I can't change people. So I'm never here to change people. Like, if you want to act a certain way towards me, I'm not going to engage. I'm just not going to. And that might piss you off more, but I'm not engaging in the BS. Like, there's just people that want to, you know, I've literally seen relationships or marriages end due to friends who were jealous or certain things. But also, that's good that you and your wife, I'm assuming you guys are on the same page and have each other's back through all that, Mike. You don't have to reveal any personal details or anything like that. That's, you know what I mean? That's between you and your wife. But I'm just going to say, like, it's very important to be on the same page, because at the end of the day, if your person is willing to leave you off of the comments of someone else, like, then I'm going to be honest, it says a lot about them. If they're willing to just walk away based off that. And like I said, every situation is different. So if there's abuse going on or different things, I understand. Like some family members and friends might step in then, but I have seen it countless times that it's like a jealous family member or friend or like multiple that try to get involved, if it's so we just need to use discernment of the character of the people that we are talking to, because just because they're good, just because they're family doesn't mean they have good character. We have to be careful with that. And it's hard to decipher that sometimes because I'll be honest with you. I think it's hard to decipher that sometimes because when we love people like our family members, we sometimes are a little bit biased. For sure. We definitely get biased sometimes. Let me just navigate through here. So, all right. So, one of the things, yeah, I appreciate you, Mike. He said, like you say, we don't sugarcoat shit. The last 3 years did a lot for her family, got the shit end of everything. Yeah, we have our ups and downs, but we're still going and we'll continue. And that's what it's about. You press on through it. And a lot of times, right, we can do things for others, but not be able to expect things in return, right? I don't know about you. Like, I'm not someone, if I do something for somebody, like, that I'm ever going to keep track or keep score. Like, I do it because I want to do it. It's not because I expect something in return. And a lot of times you can do things for people, but you can't expect them to do things back for you. You know what I mean? And like, sometimes you expect gratitude from that, right? Like, people don't. So you know what you got to do, man? You got to cut off doing the things that you do for them. And I know sometimes that's hard, but like, I don't know. Like I said, I would need to know the situation. It's tough sometimes, depending on your living situation or like what's going on. But the best way that we teach people that they can't treat us certain ways is like, okay, well, I wasn't doing things to throw it in your face, but I'm still a good person, but I'm not going to overextend myself for you. You're not even grateful for what I do for you. You know what I mean? So I won't overextend. Because why would you want to? But the situation is just different for everybody. I don't always know like full situations and everything, but so this is what I wanted to. I like to sometimes put my things out too, so like I have the things, even though I'm going off of experience. Like I was telling you, one of the biggest things you need to do is you need to set boundaries. When it comes to outside noise, you need to set boundaries. So friends and family, right? They're loved ones, right? They're people who are close to us. You can be gentle, but you need to be firm in your boundaries. Like, hey, look, I'm not going to allow you to talk about her like that. Or like, woman, I'm not going to allow you to talk about my man, my husband, my boyfriend, whatever, like that. I appreciate your concern, but I need you to trust I know what's best for me, right? Like, and you need to leave it at that. Like, it's just that it starts with boundaries. And the other part that I had told you, this is what I had in my notes, become a united front. So if you present a united front, they'll be able to, it's going to be harder to break the two of you. If you're all on the same page and, you understand these things, it's going to be harder for people to break you. You know what I mean? So if family members interfere, the person whose family it is should be the one to set the boundary. So like, say I am in a relationship or I'm married, and my parents, my family, my friends are talking disrespectfully about my partner, then I'm going to step in and be like, I'm not going to allow you to talk about my partner like that. And if you are, I'm not engaging with you at all. Like, you need to respect my partner. And that's it. I mean, that's it. It's like, I don't need to use language or do anything. It's just a firm boundary that I'm not going to tolerate that. So if you're going to come at me with that type of energy. You're gonna come at my partner. You're gonna do this. It's like, well, look, then there's no need for me to even engage with you because it's like that's not okay. Like, so the partner whose family it is needs to set the boundary. I've seen this too, where people don't stand up to like family members or friends that do, and that's a problem. Like that's a problem. Like you need to be able to do that. If you can't do that, that's gonna cause resentment. You have to be able to do that. That's why I say becoming a united front and being on the same page is important. And this is what I said too: limit the information leaks. Avoid discussing intimate details or recurring arguments. Like, don't discuss arguments like with friends and family too, because like I said, they're always gonna pour their opinion in friends and family, especially if like they feed off drama. This is gonna be like their new favorite reality TV show. And guess what? You're the star. Seriously, I've seen this so much. Like I said, I know what you're saying. All I asked for was a thank you, appreciate you, or something like that. But learn the hard way. Yeah, and that's all we want sometimes is gratitude. Like, that's all we want. So I respect that. Like I said, I really did all this stuff because of my wife. But now I just back. What makes people more mad is I'm still around with the kindness. Yeah, man, it pisses people off even more, when that happens. That's how it is. It makes that's why they say kill them with kindness, bro. If you move that way, people are gonna be like, well, I can't be this way. Why are you doing the same for me? People with that same reciprocal energy, but if they're not willing to, if you're not willing to engage, it's gonna piss them off more. Rob, what's up, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, Steve?
What's up, Brody? Yeah, I don't know how many people are popping on for this. I'm not even really considering it like after hours. I'm kind of just like still just covering parts of the subtopics. I won't keep it like extremely long. I'll probably keep it like an hour. Like I started at 7:45, but yeah, man, a couple people are sick. Like I know a lot of people are going through it, so it's a little hard, but I'll definitely have something good for like after hours in the future. But it might just be me, you, and Rich when Rich pops on, and potentially Leyla. But a couple of the girls had to cancel. And then Mario, I don't think is coming on either, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna pop in for a little bit. Get my listeners. I said I was gonna pop in. So just finishing up for the day.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I was actually. So what we're talking about is just right now. We're just talking about navigating outside noise in like long-term relationships from like friends, family, like all that stuff, like marriages, like all that stuff, like just from relationship standpoints. What's your thought process on it? I'll tell you what I walked through. Like me and Mike have been kind of chatting in the comments, but I know he's been married for 9 years and he's dealt with some stuff with his like her family and stuff. And I just say like I think it's so important to be on the same page, be like a united front. I feel like friends and family, especially if you grew up in like toxic environments, like they're gonna have their opinions to say things. You gotta watch the information that you leak to friends and family, because if you leak a lot of arguments or intimate details, that's not really going to be to your advantage. They're gonna chime in and use that against your partner, But what's your thought process on this, man?
Yeah, man. Families play a big role in the breakups a lot of time when it comes to early marriages, whether it's marriage or it's a boyfriend girlfriend situation. Some people value families way too much, their opinions way too much. Versus what's between the two partners, or the two the couple. That's something that I told in my previous relationship. I told her about that. I was like, hey, at the end of the day, it's me and you. Like, only we know what's the dynamics of the relationship. Only we know what's the intimate details of the relationship. Only we know what's going on, really what's between us. While outside opinions is okay to get another perspective, but bringing in multiple people into, I would say the sanctity of your relationship, definitely can steer it the wrong way. And there's plenty of stories of, families steering marriages to divorces. So I'll definitely say take advice with a grain of salt. Be careful who you take the advice from when it comes to your relationship. And at the end of the day, always value what you have between you and your respective spouse.
Good points, man. They're all solid. Yeah. You have to for sure, like be careful who you're getting advice from. Like, also like look at people's dynamics. Like, if you have like single friends that are not in a relationship, haven't been in a
Yeah,
while,
yeah,
and they're making comments into your relationship, it's like, okay, well, they're single, they've been single for a while. It's like, what experience do they have right now to really give you that advice? You know what I mean? Or if they're
Mhm.
single and bitter too, you know, I always say this: single friends sometimes keep other friends single. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You see that a lot. It's you got to be careful, or and setting boundaries is important too. Like if you find your, you know, family or friends, like, you know, talking bad on your partner, you need to stand up to them and you need to be like, hey, look, that's not okay. I'm not going to engage in that. And I'm not going to tolerate that. Just plain simple and firm. Like it's like, yo, I'm not going to tolerate that. I say the only situation I really think that like I can side with, like friends and family really get involved, is there's some type of abuse going on. Like if there's physical abuse, if there's emotional abuse, I understand like they're trying to help them then, but even then, it's still going to be down to the person to make the decision to walk away, right? Like it's like you can try. I've seen that too. Friends and family, they try to get them out of it, but if the person is just not making a decision to walk away, it's going to be hard. You can try to help them, but that's the only time I really, you know, I would say like, okay, I understand. You know, if there's abuse going on, that's different.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Then that gives all right for friends and family to hop in and stir things up for sure. Like I can understand that. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, but at the same time, like when it's not respective to that, like physical abuse, when it comes to, I would say, like decisions or like conflict, I would be very careful, with bringing your situation up to friends and family, even your parents. Like you gotta be careful. You can get their opinion, but you always want to, you don't want to take their opinion as gospel. Because like I said, they
Right.
don't know the intimate dynamic between you and your respective partner. So
Yep.
you don't want to just take their opinion as gospel. Because at the
Yep.
same time, you got to look at who you're getting your advice from. You got to understand their situation, where they're coming from, what they know. People can only give you what they have. So if you're getting, like you said, from a bitter single friend, how much, advice, how much quality advice can she really give you about your relationship? So I
Yeah.
would say keep that in mind. But you can still take it, but take the good and push away the bad.
That's why discernment is so important. You need to use discernment when you're like talking these things. Like you have to have a high sense of self too. Like because if you have low self esteem and you don't trust yourself, that's when these things get a little shaky because it's like, okay, maybe I'm wrong to think that I love my person. Like, you know, you need to have a high sense of self and confidence in yourself. Because if you have low self esteem, it can definitely people can put things in your head. You know what I mean? You also have to use discernment in these situations for sure. And then I would say just, you know, I always say this too, be careful when you're arguing with like your spouse, like you get frustrated. Some people, the first thing they do is they'll run to friends or family about it. You got to be really careful. Like, I wouldn't even say be careful, but I would not do that because it's like what you do in that situation now, like say like y'all are going through an issues in your relationship and now you're back on good terms. Well, now you went and you bashed your partner to like your friends and your family, and it looks kind of. You ever see them couples? I always say that they always get in arguments. They're always in highs and lows, ups and downs, and like all they do is like bash each other to friends and family. Well, they look kind of stupid like when you're in like the high phases now because you bashed your partner like
Yeah,
to everybody. It's like
yeah,
you
yeah,
need to
for
be able
sure.
to communicate. You need to be able to communicate the issues directly with your partner.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. And I feel like you should never bash your partner to your
Mhm.
family and your friends. I feel like that it's a reflection of you. You picked them. Like, so it's funny. Like I
That's the nail
wouldn't.
on the head.
Yeah, like you can talk to them about like where they can grow. Their faults, but to bash them is a whole different story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely different. That's usually kind of toxic relationships, you know, when it gets to the point where you're calling each other out your name and getting that point. It's like if you can't have constructive conflict, you're gonna argue for sure. Like it's just that's natural. I mean, it would be kind of weird if you don't, but there's a difference between arguing like and being able to handle that conflict constructively versus like calling each other out your name, saying, yo, you're a bitch, like, yo, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like getting like toxic, like with it. I mean, yeah, I don't ever think you should call your partner out their name. Like it gets
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
crazy.
Yeah,
Um, he said, Mike said everything Rob said he first got on was all facts. Yes, sir. Mike, let's find out. Mike, he said he also said, I cut off family over my relationship because too many people had a lot to say. I was happy. Oh well. Yeah. And he said, if I yell at my wife, she'll smack the shit out of me. Tell me to go sit down. I'm not joking. Oh man. Yeah, your wife is Hispanic too, right, brother? I'm pretty sure. Like I think. I don't know if I've ever met your wife in person, man. But y'all have been married 9 years, man. Like, that's kind of, a lot of marriages in this day and age, man. They don't always last 9 years. In our parents' day and age, it's a little different. But I always say, in those older generations, this is something people who know me like know. I'm like, there's a difference. I think like in the older generations, you see a lot of families like the parents are avoidance. They don't really have any intimacy with each other. You ever see that? People have been married like 30 years. They don't even kiss each other real quick. They sleep in separate beds. You see this a lot with a lot of the older generations. They just kind of stayed because it was comfortable. There's not like intimacy or anything. But then in this generation, the first sign of conflict, y'all, I'm ready to sign the divorce papers. Like people are, it's so different. And there's not as much middle ground. It's like, yo, being married, I have never been married, so I can't speak for a married person, but just from people I know that have been in long-term healthy marriages, it's commitment every single day. Like it's and choosing your partner,
I really think like it's definitely not about your feelings. Like you got to be loyal to the commitment, not your partner, to the commitment that you guys made.
Yes.
I think that's the key. That's something my dad told me, and I was like, yeah, that's facts. Like if you're being loyal to your partner, your feelings are gonna change. They're gonna go on your nerves. They're gonna piss you off to a point where you want to kill them. But when you're being loyal to the commitment, which is the marriage itself, I think that's the key that that's lost nowadays.
Yep. Your dad's a smart man because it's like everybody in this day and age, they're like people back in the day. They just stayed because it was comfortable, but there's like no intimacy. But in this day and age, everybody goes off their feelings, like, or they see social media and they're like, I could do better. Like they get that grass is greener type stuff, and then me or Rob can say like, just like, I mean, imagine like, we've all been in relationships. You go to relationships. And then you do see out in the market sometimes, right? Like, it's kind of crazy out here. You know what I mean? Like, realistically, it's not people. You see this, men and women both see this. You know what I mean? It's not always as green as people think. You know what I mean? It's like if you built a bond with somebody, it can be, those bonds aren't always easily replaceable. You know what I mean? So it's everybody thinks they have options, like a million different options. And it's like, yeah, sure. When it comes to, especially women, when it comes to sex, for sure. You know what I mean? Let's be real. The market, they have tons of options when it comes to that. And if you're a good looking guy who knows how to talk to women, you're probably going to have a lot of options too when it comes to that. But there's a difference between like going out and like having sex and hookups and all that stuff and being able to find a person who you can be in a long-term commitment with. There's a big difference there. It's a big difference.
Completely different. And I feel like I don't know what you believe about this. So I feel like some people just not made for marriage.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not meant for everybody. I don't know your opinion on that.
Some people aren't, man. You're absolutely right. Joy said toxic. It's true. It's like a lot of it is though. It's like, is that toxic? And then Mike said, he said, yeah, she's mixed and yeah, she's short too. Her mom is white, her dad's Puerto Rican. Yeah, man, that's that Hispanic in her, bro. Yeah, but as long as like, yeah, I know you're like kind of joking around. It's like, yeah, it's like, hey, man, everybody's, I'll never. That's one thing I'll say though, man. I'll never tolerate ever my partner putting hands on me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I hope he's joking.
I think he was joking around. We have the jokes like we make our jokes. I went home. Beat me with the what do they call that? With a shoe, but I forget what they say. The
chacleta.
There you go. The chacleta. Smack you. It's for real though. He said, yeah, we definitely have our ups and downs sometimes, a lot more downs than ups, but at the end of the day, we're still with each other. We got two beautiful kids. And that's what I say, man. A lot of it, I will say you should be probably more happy than you're upset, but it's not about feeling, because feelings do fluctuate day to day. We're all dealing with stressors, right? Anxiety. We got, we deal with stress from work. We deal with stress from the real world. We deal with stress from all different areas of life, finances. all different areas. So how we're feeling one day is going to fluctuate. You see it all the time. Some days you're in a great mood. Some days you're just like, I can't wait for this day to be over. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and if you go off your feelings, that's not what marriage is. Marriage isn't a commitment to your feelings. Like, you know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
almost like your passions or your business. Like some days your business is piss. There'll be days I'm like, yeah, I want to quit. Like this sucks. But then,
right.
like, but at the end of the day, you're like, I'm committed to achieving this goal. I'm committed to bringing this to a point where, where I want it to. So you've kind of pushed past your feelings, because you're committed to a goal. So I kind of think that's how, we should look at it to some perspective. Like, we're committed to the commitment that you
Exactly.
made with this partner. That's what
Exactly.
you gotta do. You gotta make sure before you make it, you know what you're doing. You know what you're getting into.
Yes, for sure, man. That's why I did an episode like a month plus ago or whatever. I was like, there's a book out there, and I really do. I think a lot of couples, if you're thinking about marriage, could really benefit from it. It's called The 9 Essential Conversations to Have Before I Say I Do. It goes into all different types, parenting styles, finances, you know what I mean? Childhood, a bunch of different stuff. And like
Mm-hmm.
some of those conversations are really hard conversations. They actually say you should involve counsel if it becomes too tough for the two of you. But like, here's the thing. The whole concept of it is a doubt-free wedding day. So that when you go up there and you marry your partner, you already did all the upfront legwork. It's like going into like Rob with like a real estate investment, right? You do the legwork up front. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
everything up
Before you go
front.
into
Yeah,
it.
right,
Yeah,
right.
it's an
100%.
investment. Yep.
100%. And it's way more important than a real estate investment.
For
I'll
a
tell you
lot
this
more
right
important.
now.
Biggest decision you're ever going to make in your life.
I think so, especially as a man, for sure.
Yep.
So
Biggest
don't
decision
take
you're
it
going to make.
don't take it lightly. I always say this, you're gonna be with your spouse longer than you be with your parents. Think about it. You with your parents you're around your parents every day for your first 18, 19, 20 years. But your spouse, like if it lasts long, obviously, 40 years you guys live together every day, longer than you with your parents. So
Right.
think about that.
And that's the goal. I don't think anybody gets into a marriage and is like, maybe I'll get divorced in a few years.
Hey,
I don't think anybody gets
nowadays.
into a marriage and thinks that. Well,
Nowadays, yeah.
man, it's amazing. I see like the couples that have been married like for a long time and they're like genuinely happy. Because that's the thing. Like, I'll be honest, like in the older generations, I do see it. They've been married. It does take a lot of commitment. They stay together. But I think in this day and age, if people stay together, it shows even more because women can work now, men can work. It's a different dynamic today. Like a lot of times back in the day, women didn't work. It was like people would stay just to make ends meet. They would just stay like to
Mhm.
for whatever. But you can tell there's a difference between like marriages that the people are genuinely happy, you know what I mean, and they respect each other, and the marriages where you see like they don't respect each other. There's no love. There's no anything. And here's the thing, that like intimacy is going to change a bit, as you've been around your partner for long enough. That's for sure. But like, I'm sorry, man. I don't ever want to be in a position where like I'm sleeping in a different bedroom than my wife. Like, it's just that's not me. Like, but you see it a lot with the older generations. Like, I don't ever want to be like that. Like, yo, we fight and we arguing. It's like, yo, we gonna lay. Hey, we're gonna figure it out. Well, even if we don't figure that out, we're gonna figure it out in the morning. You turn to your side, I turn to mine. We're gonna. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear you, man. It just, I guess most people go into it hoping that works, but the way
Yeah.
life works is just things change, things happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like if you stay committed to the commitment and you did the work up front, you got a better shot.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, yeah, some people are not as easy, but if not, he said a lot of people walk away from her because her people's I'm not going nowhere. Yeah, man, it's just the choice. He said marriage is not easy. And though, we'll get into the bad arguments. I'll start yelling at her. He's like, she's short, but she's short, but she won't play that shit. He said, I'm dead ass. No, it was the same one. This one, he said, to be honest with you, your feelings ain't there once you have kids. It's about your kids. how they feel, how you make them happy. Yeah, it definitely plays a portion in it. When you have your kids, you know what I mean? Like, of course, like that plays in it too. And it's like a different type of respect too, because your kids are pieces of you too. You know what I mean? Like when you look at your kids, they're pieces of the two of you, you know, and how you show up for sure.
Right.
But man, like I just see so many relationships have issues because of outside noise. And a lot of it is because one person isn't setting boundaries, right? Like it's like if you're a people pleaser and you're not setting boundaries, it's like, yeah, it's a recipe for disaster, especially if you have toxic people in your circle. You know?
Yeah, you got to. You got to set boundaries with your own parents. You got to set your boundaries with your friends. Like, at the end of the day, the relationship is between you and your spouse. You got to keep that sacred. Don't let other noise come in between that. You know, you can listen, but don't, you know, you can take advice with, you know, but you don't just take it, you know, as gospel. You definitely want to filter through it.
Yeah, I see some guys like they'll do things like I'll say from a man's perspective, they choose like, you know, when it comes to family, like they'll choose their mom like over their wife and stuff like it's like look, and I understand your mom is like the one woman that's gonna like love you unconditionally, right? You know, she's your son, whatever. But even in the Bible, you leave your parents, you leave your mother and your father to be with your wife. Like that's just you have to understand that like your parents can have good opinions and mean well for you too, but you have to also be an adult and be a man and make your own decisions. You cannot let your parents dictate things. Right. I see that with a lot with men sometimes.
Right. No, I agree.
He said I had a couple of times I got kicked out the room because we were fighting late on the couch for like an hour for the next minute. She's like, can you please come up? Yeah, man. That's real life though. I feel like it's just marriage, man. Like there's gonna be fights, there's gonna be arguments. No marriage is perfect, man. Like it's not for sure. I just say you guys have been together for a while. You guys been together almost a decade. You know, I'm assuming this year's probably gonna be 10 years, man. So you know, congrats to you and your wife. That's cool, man.
Yeah, that's good, man. Especially in this generation.
For real, man. Everybody looking elsewhere in this generation. It's crazy. That's why I said, man, it's like so many people have one foot in, one foot out. Right. So the other topic I was talking about too was healing. Like I talked about attachment styles a little bit back on this podcast, and kind of like healing like your own attachment wounds, whether it's past relationships, childhood, whatever it is, in order for you to be able to show up best for your partner. So a lot of us either have, you know, obviously everybody wants to be secure. You know, they want to be, you know, a nice mix of showing healthy love, but like also having boundaries. But a lot of people wind up with anxious attachments where they're super clingy, super all up in their partner. Like if their partner pulls away, they get super freaked out, like start losing their mind. And then you have the avoidant side where it's like they struggle with intimacy. They struggle. It's a lot of it's very surface level. They don't want to. And then there's people that have both too. That's like a pendulum. That's that fearful avoidant. But I think it's so important to heal your like attachment wounding, you know, or be committed to it while you're going into a relationship, but ideally before, because I see a lot of relationships fail because of this too. It's just like one partner's either avoidant, one's anxious, and it's like if you're secure with yourself, you have things outside of your relationship, right? Where it's like your partner isn't everything. And that's how it should be. Your partner shouldn't be everything to you because people do come and go in your life. You have to understand that you do have a mission and you have a purpose in this life. So if you're secure, you still, you know, you may be able to give intimacy to your partner. Like, hey, like I can still be affectionate. I can still do this. But at the same time, I have my own boundaries because look, I have other things going on in my life too, you know, for the greater good, like of your relationship too. Like you think of your partner, like all the business decisions you make, everything you make. Right. But yeah, it's so important to heal these things.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with the attachment styles. But yeah, I definitely think coming into a relationship whole, you know, is always ideal. You don't want to come in, you know, broken or still healing. Coming into a whole is always ideal. And two whole people coming together, you know, under one goal. So I think that's obviously ideal.
For sure. Yeah, I didn't know. Like I would take time to like kind of research and stuff, but it's like you start to see a lot of this, like with like the attachment style stuff. Basically, that's how I just look at it. It's like secure is like you're comfortable with yourself. You're not too avoidant. You're not too anxious. But you see the people who are like chasing in a relationship, right? Like they're begging for their partner's affection. Basically, that's like anxious. That's the people who are like the chaser. And then the runner dynamic is avoidance. Like they got one foot in, one foot out. Like, so I think everybody's dynamic's different. It depends on how you were raised. It depends on the relationships you've been in. There could be somebody who's super secure and then they get in a relationship with someone who's avoidant and then they turn anxious because of it. You know what I mean? They make them crazy. Or it could be the opposite. Somebody could be in a relationship with someone and they're secure and then their partner's like over the top. I need your attention all the time. And then they become kind of avoidant because they're like, this is crazy. Like, so you have to have a healthy mix there. Like nobody wants an overly clingy partner and nobody wants like an overly avoidant, unaffectionate partner either. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, that would suck.
It'd be horrible, man. It's like if you're with an avoidant, you're in like a surface level relationship and marriage. There's like no, that's why I say a lot of the older couples, I think that a lot of them have become that kind of, it's just like avoidant. Like it's just, there's no real intimacy there. But then, you see the other people, it's like they want your affection and attention all the time. And that's just not realistic. That's like their own wounds. They probably have abandonment wounds and other things that they haven't healed. And you have to be content with yourself. Like if your partner's going through something, you can stay steady, but not like, hey, look, I know you need a little bit of space. Take your time. Like, but I'm still here. Not like why are you not talking to me? Why are you like this? You know what I mean? Like, you see that a lot too. Like, yeah, important to heal those things. Joy said, "Solid words." Yeah, Joy. I know we talked about these things. Yeah, no, it's honestly like a lot of people. That's why I said like attachment styles are interesting. I never really knew a lot about them, but when I look back, I look at my own like upbringing and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I like notice these things, because I'm like, hey, these are, like I love my parents, I love my family. It's like, but hey, maybe these are some things that I want to break these curses. You know what I mean? I don't want this with my wife or my kids. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
So
Yeah,
just kind of understand it.
I think that's smart to learn from like your parents' relationship and kind of figure out where they did well in and where they could be better. Kind of you take that into yours.
Exactly. Because every I think set of parents, you'll have certain things that you might want to emulate, and then certain things that like, hey, I don't want to emulate this. I don't want to put that into my, situation.
Right.
Which is important to use that discernment for sure. Man, I don't know if Rich is going to come on at all. He might not. Yeah, I know he had a client tonight, so he was going to try to pop in for a little bit, but
yeah, I do have to drop in like 4 minutes.
Yeah, no problem, bro. I might even in like the next 4 minutes probably just wrap up because I don't think Layla's gonna come on. I don't think Marius probably gonna come on. So I know it's Friday too, So I know people got other things going on. I get it, you know what I mean. So this is the first Friday episode I've done in like 2 years, man. Like I think the last time I did a Friday episode, George was still hosting with me. So it's been a while.
Okay.
But man, I just think like even this will add some good discussion. I want to do an after hours episode, sometime in the next few weeks. But what I'll do is I'll make sure that hopefully we can get everybody in. I mean, those episodes will usually last longer because we have, more people and stuff like that. But yeah, man, if I have one, I will definitely let you know. I'll just change the topics, have something different on here, but
okay,
for sure. But
yeah, with the big panels with the women relationship talk, it's always a hot one.
Yeah, I know, man. They get like the most views, man. I think those episodes are always the most views when I look on YouTube. Those ones have the most views. And then actually the one when Frank came on here as like a Philly police officer, like he talked about like, his experiences and stuff. That one did really well. They got a lot of people that viewed that. So yeah, but a lot of people I guess want to see like how's that life because it's crazy out here. For sure. But yeah, bro, I won't hold you up, man. I'll probably wrap up in the next couple of minutes anyway, man. But I just want to say, man, I appreciate you popping on. I appreciate you, giving some feedback, giving some insight. I know it'll definitely help people, man. You always got some good wisdom.
Yeah, for sure. I gave you my word, so definitely came pop in,
Yeah,
add to
man.
the show. That's how killer.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, man. You always keep your word, bro. Like always authentic, man. That's dude. That's all we got is men, man. We gotta keep our
Yeah,
word.
yeah. I try my best. So when I say something, I try almost to do it, back it up. Sometimes I fail, but I always try.
But even if like you can't make it or something, man, I know you always let me know. You know what I mean? You never like
Yeah,
keep it in the dark or anything. Like, hey, like yo, something came up,
yeah,
which is respectable.
yeah, yeah.
But appreciate you, Brody. I'll text you, this weekend, man. I'll hit you up. But man, definitely have a good night, man. Be safe and appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. All right,
Later,
have a good
bro.
one.
Later, brother. All right, guys. So Rob is out. Wanted to let him get back to his business, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much like that's what we covered here tonight. We covered outside noise from relationships. You heard Rob's perspective. Rob's perspective. You heard mine. You heard our thoughts on like attachment stuff. Like attachment stuff, I know we covered in like a whole episode. So if you guys want, check a few episodes back. I could probably get the number for you guys. Let me see if you guys are interested, because this is important. Like, I mean, a lot of men, they don't really fully know, but let's see. Let's get this information so you guys can like be able to check this out if you're interested. This is like human behavior. It interests me, so it's like might not interest everybody else. But I'm a personal growth person, so like I want to learn from certain things. So like while finance interests me and like different areas like health and fitness interests me, this interests me too, because I always say the trifecta of personal development is going to be your mission and your purpose, your finances. So that kind of comes with it. Your business, your career, if you have a business or if you're in a career, and your money and your finances, right? And then you also have the second part, which is your health and your fitness, right? We're not here without our health. So none of this even matters without your health, your diet, your exercise, your mental, spiritual health too. All that stuff, right? That gets it 1, 2, and then your relationships. So your wife, your kids. I'm just talking from a man, wife, like woman is, different. Family, friends, like all these things. So this type of stuff goes into that part of personal development. Like it's, being able to understand your attachment style so that you can show up better. And it helps you when you're like picking a partner, kind of be able to discern as well. So important. Let's see if I can find this episode for you guys. Let's see. I want to be able to get this exact episode for you guys. Okay. I think I found it. So this was episode 232, guys. It was from November 6th. So go back. Me and Rich actually talked about that. Rich is in he's in his master's right now. He's kind of finished up. He's just doing his credit hours, and he's going to be a fully licensed family marital therapist. So we're in this, but it was healing from past trauma, working towards secure attachment. That was the episode 232. So if you're interested in that, there's a more in-depth analysis on that. And that episode is about an hour and 23 minutes. So it's a pretty long episode. If you guys are interested, go check that episode out. The stuff, like, we usually try to keep these episodes a little bit interesting too. Like, we were going to talk sex drive and different things on here. I'm going to keep that mainly for an after hours episode when we have the actual split panel. Like Rob said, those episodes always do really well because, it's cool. Everybody comes on, we have fun, we have direct conversations, and it's cool to see the difference between men and women's views on things. It really is. So we will definitely have an episode on that. But guys, I'm just going to wrap up. I just want to say it's Valentine's Day Eve. If you're celebrating out there with your lady, fellas, enjoy yourself this weekend. For the women out there, if you're celebrating with your man, enjoy yourself as well. Happy Valentine's Day to y'all. And guys, just have a good weekend. Stay safe. A lot of people are getting sick out here. Be careful. That being said, we'll see you next week for episode 244. Thanks for rocking out with us tonight, guys. Mike, Joy, Let me real quick, Facebook, let me check. We don't always get a lot of comments on Facebook as much. A lot of times when I do get comments, it's usually after the stream, ironically. I had that last week. Yeah, I don't see anything on there. Let's see. I do want to, okay, just want to address before, So, guys, with that being said, thank you guys for rocking out with us tonight. We will see you next week, episode 244. Have a good night.